now, generally, things start at a pre-embryonic stage, and as has been the case with AI, we've seen AI sort of a buzzword, that's coming up a lot in 2017. The idea for us is that, when the world is buzzing about artificial intelligence, and there's a lot of speculation on how would AI really impact the marketing world. Just want to throw in the question first to the panel of, what are your thoughts on it? Where do you see AI going in 2018?
Hey, Simon here. Guys, who is scared of the machines taking over the world? Quite a few of us are. I think talking about AI, it's like such a cool trend, and you keep hearing the words AI all the time in marketing. Of course, there are huge investments into AI made by large companies, but the question here is whether small businesses, but also larger enterprises can utilize AI for their needs. Now, I think AI is definitely going to be a huge trend. It's going to continue to be a huge trend throughout 2018. However, it's also not for everybody. Like, if you really want to tackle AI, and I'm not sure if you guys will agree with me, you really need plenty of data, right? And it's just common sense that a lot of businesses simply do not have billions upon billions of data entries to be able to successfully roll out an AI-based campaign. Now, at GetResponse, we are fortunate that we have been working on AI since 2014. For instance, Hydra, which is our anti-spam system, which we launched initially in 2014, developed it since then. We actually have the capacity to discover if a person has the intention to spam, right? So it's not just about being reactive, like when a spammer sends out an email and go, oh, hey, we're going to kill that account, that's a bad guy. No, we actually detect the intention to spam because of AI, because of so many data that we have. So it's kind of cool. Also with marketing, we have a cool feature which is called perfect timing. I'm not sure if you guys realize about this, but we have a feature that optimizes delivery time based on artificial intelligence information that we feed. So for instance, if a person in Malaysia opens up an email at a certain time point, because of the time zone, because of how they work, we're going to remember the time, and we're going to try to deliver the message at precisely the time when he is most engaged with email. So that is also with AI. How do you guys feel about AI? Do you think it's going to be a trend from now on?
Just like Steve Jobs made computers scary when he made the computer says hello. So my thought is, do you believe in digital marketing? This is the first question you must ask yourself. If you don't believe the people, the digital marketing guy who is doing your ads, then you might not want to invest in AI because the investment cost will be much higher. But for me, myself, I would try if there's any AI tools that are available. Like chatbot is already one of the AI tools. You might be talking to a robot instead of a human when you shop online, when you're chatting on a website, even on Facebook. That's one of part of the AI is already blending in our lives without us knowing it. So if there's any tools, just try it out. Don't be afraid. Be open. Try it out. Don't like it, then you might stick to the traditional way, but it eventually will be part of our digital marketing future trends.
And would you agree with me that we are already, as marketers, we are already benefiting from AI in many senses, right? I mean, we are using Facebook, we're using Google, other companies that have made the investments into AI. So in a sense, we are benefiting from AI every day. We just don't realize it.
Use cases like this that we can see now. Do you have any plans when it comes to start to use AI or chatbots for some operations?
Yeah. Okay. So HonestBee, we're actually in Malaysia. We're only a 1-year-old company. So officially we hit our 1 year mark on the 28th of February. For all of you that do not know, HonestBee, we deliver on-demand groceries and food. So AI is something that we definitely see trending in the market, and it's something that can improve customer experience, whether it's from the marketing standpoint or even if it's from the operations standpoint. So from the marketing standpoint, it's about how you bring the best. Actually, for both, it's about how you're going to use AI to bring the best possible customer experience to the end user, right? So marketing about targeting the right messages, giving even small things like recommending products in EDMs or even on the checkout page. All this requires some form of algorithm. Would be from historical purchases or even customers similar to yourself. If you love ordering, let's say watermelon, you may love a certain type of juice that complements the fruit, right? So it boils down to helping the customers' life to be better. From the operations standpoint, yes, it can work from chatbots for customer service. But at the same time, how about delivering products safely to the consumer? So using the data that we have, we know customers tend to order during certain times of the day, certain days of the week. Even the drivers, how to make the journey to the customer the safest possible. Maybe incentivizing customers to order during a certain time slot whereby there's less chance of rain. Because in Malaysia, right, service level is something that we pride ourselves in. But if it rains, that's it. The other day, Bangsa was flooded. My poor guy couldn't go there and do the delivery. Customers are not too happy when the order comes late. So what can we do with all this data? Maybe even with weather patterns next time, I can tell you like, you know what, order your groceries at 3 o'clock with a lower chance of rain and your orders will get to you on time. Just in 2 cents.
And if I may throw an atomic bomb here, I'm not sure if many of you will agree with me, but it almost feels like we already have the technology that is better than AI, and it's called human relationships. So talking about chatbots, I think it's awesome. If we can really pull it off in a way that's fluid, right? When the conversations become fluid and real. But let's not forget that we already have things like live chat, and I remember when we rolled out the 24/7 live chat support. Daniel here is looking at me. He was actually helping to make that happen. That was like a huge boost for our business. I mean, our business grew by about 20% just because we opened up a live chat line for customers that was 24/7. So just throwing it out there. Maybe we already have something that is already as good or maybe even better.
So I think about AI is, I mean, I've seen I met a lot of marketers, I met a lot of people that talk about it and say, hey, I have AI and all that, but how does it impact all of us sitting in this group, right? And what does it really mean? So I think I'll boil down to this three things. The business that is going to own the algorithm is going to be the winner. What does it mean? Because algorithm is how you would get predictive about what your audience wanted. You want to reach out to those people when you get suggestions on what you should buy, what you should read, what you should be, where you should be staying, where you should be going for your next holiday and all that. So the business that's going to own algorithm in the next couple of years are going to come up strong, and that's part of what Simon was saying. It's all about data, right? The second thing about AI is there are platforms like IBM Watson and all those wonderful chatbots, but it's made so easily available for a lot of us now that we could actually do it already, right? And the third bit is, so the second bit is about platform, and it's made easier. So we don't need to hire a 100-man engineering team now to figure the coding and all that behind us right now, because that's almost available off the shelf, right? If you just Google it, I want to set up a chatbot for my business right now, there's going to be off-the-shelf solutions that's going to be available. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be available. But the most important thing about AI is this: it's all about data. So it's how clean your data is. You can't just jump into into the wall, into your clients and all that and say, hey, I have AI. In the first place, you got to first look back at yourself. yourself and say, how's my sales data coming in? How's my marketing data of all the media investment that I put into the market, how is that affecting sales? How's customer service? How's my response rate from all my on-ground sales team? And so forth, and finance and all. Now, are those data linked, right? And how clean are those data? That's our responsibility now as like in business to make sure that we have clean sets of data and all that starts to talk to each other. When that does, AI do one thing. AI helps you analyze it, right? Now you take that and you put into IBM Watsons, and so now you do all your prediction and all your predictive analysis and then all the cool stuff and wonderful stuff that you want to do. So that's essentially how I see it.
You know, I also think that, and to your point, you mentioned about linking the various different pieces of data together, right? That's huge. So I think when marketers think about well, things like big data and artificial intelligence, we can be intimidated. I mean, it sounds scary, right? I mean, it's a lot of work. Artificial intelligence. We've seen the movies, End of the World, right? I mean, it's how can we pull it off? How can our companies pull it off? Now, I think an easier way to really think about it is think about predictive marketing. Think about what kind of marketing activities you can pull off. How can you predict your customers' behaviors, right? So once you start thinking that, hey, artificial intelligence can be useful for my business because then perhaps I can predict where the customer is going to go next. What are they going to do on my website? What are they going to do in my sales funnel? That's when you suddenly crystallize your strategy, like how can I actually pull it off? And then you start thinking, hey, maybe I can grab those pieces of data, link them with other pieces, and then you pull off something that's going to push your business towards a new height.
Alright, so just moving from the possibilities of AI, which we certainly heard from email to chatbot to even online ads, where the deployment is pretty much all over the place, case potential is. Coming back to now reality, if you really look at 2018, which is here and now, that's we already living in it. Are we ready for it? Do you feel that there are some problems of data will be solved, where we are ready to experiment with real AI showing up in our day-to-day operations? And if yes, what are some of those tactics that you are either experimenting with it yourself or you find your clients asking for it? Kenneth, do you want to take a start?
Yeah, so I think it's not a question of whether we're going to get started. I think we are already in the midst of it. It's already there. I mean, whether you like it or not, AI is there. AI is already across a lot of things that you do, right? The flights that you choose for your next destination and all that. There's a lot of predictive modeling that goes behind it. The hotel rooms that you choose and so forth. And the credit cards that you choose to use and all that. Your life is going to be, it's already part of it. Now what you are doing about it and what we need to do is really say, how do I leverage this for the benefit of my company, for the benefit of the business that I do every day. So that's my take about how and where we are. That it started, go ahead, jump into it, and start using it. There's no shying away from it. Yeah.
Jim, what's your point of view on this?
Well, I kind of have a, how would you say, a little bit more of an unconventional view of AI.
Which is great.
Like, to some extent, I'm afraid to be a bit honest here. Yeah, but if I am out of line, please do keep me off the stage. I'll have to go. But you know, I mean, like AI is just a buzzword that's been used over and over again in the past year. You know, and it's getting a little bit fluffy, right? Like, what is AI? Like, what really is AI, right? So is Siri AI? Is Alexa AI? Is it AI when I go to Amazon and they recommend me that, oh, because you bought this book, because you like 50 Shades of Grey, you will also like.
Now we know what book you like to read.
You know, stuff like that. I mean, is that AI, right? And if that is AI, because it's collecting data, it's predicting behavior and recommending you stuff. If that is AI, then we've had AI for the past 10 years. So why is it now we call it AI? Just that before we call it scripts, we call it programs, we call it automated, we call it all the stuff, right? So when I think of AI, I think of, I don't think of it just in terms of data crunching stuff or doing marginal increases to productivity. I think of it in ways where AI changes everything, right? So, has anyone seen this Black Mirror episode where this robot dog is hunting humans for 1 hour and killing everyone? Has anyone seen that? Yeah, that's AI, right? It's like it's not an if this happens, do this. No, it's like you throw a table at it, it will come after you another way. If it breaks its gun, it will claw you with a knife, or it just does different things, and that's AI. Like not incremental but exponential AI. It's not that it's not just a dog opening the door. I mean, so what? That's just step one, right? Real AI is when the dog kills me, no matter what. I run, and no matter what I do, it kills me, right? So that AI, when it comes, would really replace jobs, not in a small way, but in a huge way, like self-driving cars would replace drivers, or eventually AI would replace all of us in terms of marketing decisions or stuff like that. And when that happens, then we're just left with having to do, we either evolve to do very high-end stuff that AI can't do, maybe creative stuff or stuff like that, or we just end up like one of the people, a lot of science fiction movies where they offer an alternative universe where technology has taken off and inequality is huge, the rich are super, super rich, and then the poor are like getting poorer and poorer. I mean, that's really happening, and AI is going to accelerate that. So it's a bit philosophical in a kind of way, but yeah, that's my...
And you realize that AI can also be creative. I think there was a buzz last year when AI was essentially painting, making paintings based on the data coming from various artists from the past, and was able to paint a beautiful painting. So I think even the creative type are a danger here.
All right, so just moving on a little bit.
Sorry, I just want to say one thing. You know how what I feel like right now on this stage, it feels like this. A couple of years ago, we'll be sitting on this stage and you'll be like, no, it's all about digital marketing and online is the next thing, internet and all that. What Kathy was saying, right? Right now, we don't say that anymore. It's like asking fish, what is water? It's all around us, right? It's like, how do I explain that to you? It's everything else that you do. I think AI is going to be that in a few years down the road.
Alright, so after hearing all these interesting perspectives on AI, although your analogy of 50 Shades of Grey can be classified as TMI, we'll get to that later. That being said, eventually the goal of AI is to deliver experiences to the consumer. One of the big mission is that we want to drive relevance, and relevance comes from driving personalized experience. We all know we've got enough data. Like there's one data point that says that 56% more are likely to return to purchase a product that's recommended to them. Which means it's the importance of, again, data, personalization, how we're using it. That being said, I would love to start off with the person who actually wears the e-commerce hat on us first, to tell us about how some of the strategies that can be deployed, to drive that personalized communications and UX into the consumers. Kathy, you want to use that?
So we really, in e-commerce, right, so that's what our expertise is. So we usually do. So what we are focusing is, I'm going to summarize into, apart from loyalty programs, reward programs, personalized customization teams, if you like Converse shoes, and then I can do some coding, and whenever it comes to the website, you can just see, since you like Converse shoes, so I can show you lots of the whole series of Converse shoes in your front page. Apart from all that, I would like to think of summarize into 3 points. One is think about mobile commerce. So it's not just mobile responsive. It should be mobile commerce, because if you have a mobile responsive website, it will just be more and more people buying. But you have to be buying friendly, not just browsing friendly. So you have to have an optimized checkout page. You have to be using a lot of hero images like Unilever that I've been using, and then you have to be think about. And the second point is you have to think about cross-border. If they come to your website, do you have web currency converter? Do you have multi-languages? Do you have the local payment gateways available, VAT, the taxes available for them? And then the third one is the social selling. which is a big hit point now. As you know, Instagram already have native shop on your Instagram pages, Facebook native shop, and it actually shortens the funnel, because when we talk about marketing funnel, it's like always branding, engagement, and then conversion. But now we are talking about shorten the funnels, and then there's a book talking about the end of advertising as we know it. So the trend now is actually, when I show my products to you, it's just like goes from brand awareness to conversion. Yeah. So that's what's the trend in the 2018.
Before you spoke about personalized and what the use of AI or email to optimize the delivery time. What are some of the other tactics that you can use to really personalize the experience using the power of data and AI?
First of all, I would just like to say that, just citing the study that you mentioned, where I think you mentioned 56% of people are more likely. I would change the narrative here, and I'm not sure if you guys will agree with me. But for me, when I hear that 56% of people are more likely to buy if you have a personalized experience, I would take it in reverse. I would say, hey, 56% are less likely to return if you don't have personalization. For me, in 2018, there really isn't a discussion. There really isn't a discussion whether you should personalize or not, because if you don't, trust me, you're losing out. You're losing out on sales, on traffic, on conversions, on social engagement. I mean, you really have to be out there, and then you have to personalize your marketing messages. Talking about strategies that we use, and of course when we developed GetResponse, we've been on the market for almost 20 years now. Our customers have access to personalization since 2001, so it's been, I feel like a dinosaur here, 17 years of personalization experience. But I think it really boils down to the specifics of each business, and you have to, remember that it's not just about sending out an email saying dear first name, whatever. That doesn't work anymore, right? I mean, it was cool in 1999, or up to say 2004, but not anymore. Like this year, for instance, we are focusing heavily on what we are calling the marketing programming language, where you can take GetResponse, you can take our APIs, you can take what we have, which is called dynamic content interface, and you can actually personalize your messages in a sort of it kind of works like a programming language. So I really think you got to take things to the next level if you really want to excel at personalization.
All right, so now just with the seamless stick for me on time, because I feel like the pace is not that fast for us. So anyway, just moving the conversation forward, we have a couple of more interesting topics to talk about. One of the big ones is, as we spoke about AI, we've been moving from embryonic to get to the next stage. Our last question is about influencer marketing, and before we shut it off in the next 3 minutes. So just to talk on the influencer marketing part, that is one that has been matured in 2017. The question is that where does it go in 2018?
Oh, I think influencer marketing is huge, but at the same time, it's just one of the strategies that companies can use, right? I mean, a lot of people will say that influencer marketing isn't really cheap. I mean, it can be very expensive. However, I think if you're starting out on the internet, if you have an internet presence and you are resource strapped, perhaps that is the best way. Perhaps the best way is to invest in influencers, because they already have their own, let's say, marketing tribes. They have their followers, they have existing engagements, so you cannot afford not to use influencers, in my opinion. So that's just my take on that. I know we're running out of time. All right, let's just ask the person who actually co-founded enough time before we start to wrap this up.
Oh, okay. So to give everyone a bit of a background, so my previous 10 years of my life, I've been in influencer marketing, then evolved to digital media and everything. And now I'm out for the past couple of years with a co-working space called Colony, right? So my first confession is that I didn't realize then, when I was pitching agencies and big clients and everything, I didn't know how to empathize with SMEs. And only now that I'm an SME, that I know how to empathize with that. So let me give you a perfect example, right? when we go to pitch to clients for big budgets, whether it's Nestle or Maxis and all that, right? We pitch for big budgets, right? And a lot of it is like, we're talking about awareness and stuff over lead generation, right? It's mostly awareness and all this kind of stuff, right? And the clients buy into that. Now, if you talk to an SME that has limited budget, you can't spend $1 million on advertising, right? You can spend maybe 30, 40,000. You don't care about awareness. You care about lead generation, and you don't just care about leads. You care about sales, whether they convert into sales, right? So and that's when I began to advertise, and I began to see the other side, and we've been quite successful, right? In the past, with Colony, with like the first quarter, when we started the first quarter last year, in our first quarter, we spent like 30,000 ringgit in advertising, and that led to 600,000 in sales. And how do you do that, right? We do that actually not by following trends. Why? Why not following trends, right? Because when we have no budget, right, we can't flood the market, right? We can't shock and awe. So we got to moneyball the opportunities that are undertapped. So a good example is Google and Facebook are very effective advertising mediums until all your competitors get on it, right? Then it's not. We ran like a 5,000 ringgit campaign on Facebook, and it gave us 80 leads, 80 leads, and we were like, wow, this is a marketer's dream. And when we call up all the leads, not one of them was a serious lead. Not one. And then I checked with property agents and everything, and they were like, yeah, they told me the same thing. Like, property agents would tell me, yeah, 3 years ago it was a marketer's dream. It gives us a lot of leads now, but it just doesn't convert. Does anyone else feel like that? Yeah. And then when it comes to Google leads work. They are high quality, but they can be like $500 per conversion, per sales, US dollars, and it's expensive. So what really works? I appreciate that, customization, all that really helps, right? So what really works? We tried a lot of things. We found moneyball opportunities. Marketing mediums that people won't really try, we will try it, right? Because no one else is on it. And then if it works, we exploit it all the way until there's nothing left to exploit. Now, the other thing that works for us is influencer marketing, right? But I can understand why it's hard to use influencer marketing because it's as much as an art as it is a science. It's so hard to find the right kind of influencer that will eventually drive sales. Has anyone here ever saw like a really pretty girl or good-looking guy on Instagram that has 500,000 followers on Instagram, run a posting, and realize that no sales resulted in that posting, even though it got 5,000 likes or 10,000 likes? Has anyone ever been like that? That happens because it's just so hard to find the right kind of influencer. Whereas my wife has 100,000 followers, much less, and when she writes about Colony, right, man, she drives sales, man. It's like when the bell is ringing, like the Salvation Army tambourine, kind of thing. It's like, it just works, and it's so hard to find that. And it's because it's so hard to find the right kind of influencer, it's so hard to scale. It's so hard to spend $1 million on it. It's so expensive, right? But it's so hard to spend $1 million on it because if you look at any other metric, it's so hard to execute it in a uniform manner because they're all so different. And it doesn't help that per reach basis, influencers are super expensive. It's the most expensive. If you calculate per reach, you can't make sense of it. The likes also super expensive. In every manner possible, it is super expensive. And at the same time, some of them really work. And when you try again, others just don't work at all. That's why it's so damn hard to do it. And that's why it's so hard to scale up. So that's my, again, very unconventional way of...
Sorry, Tim, I just want to add to your point. Another great way to make money and really put a pause in the system is a thing called, what entrepreneurs call positive disruption. And I'm going to disrupt you right now. Alright? In the spirit of time, I'm going to disrupt you right now. Because the hardest thing to do in business, everyone, as you all know better than I do, is to stop. Stop, think, and recalibrate, and think about that 30,000 that's going to give you 600,000. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I have the positive disrupt. I'm going to be the unpopular figure today, so you can blame me, not them. They're very positive. I'm disruptive. So give our panel, please, a big round of applause because we are short on time. And also our next speaker on a very tight time frame. So panel, please kindly take your seats. Don't go anywhere after. We want to invite you back later for a photograph before lunchtime as well. And again, like I keep saying, that they can also we can also approach them otherwise as well. Yeah. Q&A. So let's close it. We can. Okay. So the boss has spoken.
We have for maybe one or two questions. All right. Just take a. We have.
It should be coming up on the screen right now.
Any questions?
It's coming up right there. Yes. Malaysia has one of the lowest email open rates. How can we entrepreneurs contribute to improve email marketing in Malaysia? Is that such a relevant this point?
I was thinking that Simon. So how do we get
Oh, there's a question.
Can we have a question again, please?
I'm sorry, I did not catch that.
Can we just repeat the question?
Well, if not, we just repeat the question.
Yes.
What can we do to actually improve the email engagement in Malaysia, including the open rates?
So I think it's a complex problem, right? I mean, talking about open rates, you don't really have a lot of tools to increase open rates except for modifying the subject line, right? When you think about it, it's about the pre-headers and subject lines, and I think in particular it really depends on the target market that you're reaching out to. So by optimizing your subscriber base, you can definitely boost your open rates. You just have to focus on the right people. Like if you go out wide, you might actually have much lower open rates, whereas where you focus on the right target group, you can, I mean, we have customers that have 70–80% open rates, which is incredible, and we're always fascinated at what they do. And you know, I wish I could give you like a golden nugget here, and I wish I could say, hey, here's the magic sauce, here's how you do it, here's how you can boost your open rate by 20%. Unfortunately, there isn't one. I mean, there are gimmicks, of course. You use personalization in your subject lines. You can actually add some emoticons, which have been trendy in the past. But the reality is, you have to build engagement of your list, and there's just no shortcut to do that. I also think that by us being present here as the first email marketing company in Malaysia, that actually gives us the opportunity to tap into the Malaysian market, to cooperate with ISPs, to work with deliverability locally, and that's definitely going to improve open rates for you guys. So we're super excited about being here. Thank you so much for asking a great question.
I have a bit of experience to just share. So if you guys remember a couple of years ago, there was this company called Groupon, right? And all of us love opening the email and all the coupons that are available, photos and all the great deals and all that that's available. That was 2012, 2013, thereabouts. So I asked the team in Groupon, it's like, how do you send so many emails out a day? How do you do it? How do you optimize that? The key thing is the header itself. We know that, but what do you do in the header itself that increases it? I'm just echoing what Simon is saying. You got to test it. Do I put a brand in front? If I put a brand name up front, does it increase open rate? No, it doesn't. If I make it into a price, does it increase it? Or if I put a feature, the benefit, So that was the real answer. Keep trying and keep looking at the data and see what really triggered. It might be a very small, iteration to your email header as putting an exclamation mark, and that would work. That's it.
And just to intertwine with what you said, we're actually using AI right now. We've got an experiment that is going on where we are monitoring subject lines of our customers. And down the road, hopefully soon, we're going to have a feature that actually is able to predict the open rate for a given subject line before you send out an email, which is kind of cool. I mean, you put that subject line and you get a scoring system which tells you, hey, this could be a good subject line. So we've got things like that in motion, and I hope you're gonna benefit from them as well.
All right. All right. So on that happy note, we're just gonna call this panel off for today.
We're gonna do one more.
Do we have time for one more?
We have time for one more.
All right. Okay. Again, the question is, well, this is getting to more specific. After discussing, for 35 minutes, what is the top, or what is the real exactly the top online marketing trends in 2018? So can we have a summary at the end of the panel? Well, we can. At the end of it, what we're going to do is that let's just ask, the panel members, each one of them, to basically rate their top line panel, the top trend that they see emerging in 2018. That can give us a nice summary of, what we think are the top 5 ones. And let's start with Kenneth. You want to take it on?
Okay, here's my top 100 trends in Malaysia for 2018.
It's gonna be a long question.
I think it's going to boil down to one thing, right? I mean, we talk about this a lot. I'm not going to say, it's online marketing, spend all your money in online marketing. Right? It's going to be a mix of everything that works. You heard the team. It's all going to boil down to that. But it's going to be about data. This year is the year that we are really going to talk about data and how data will make it precise, accurate, increases your sale, your bottom line, and really give you your ROAS or your return on advertising spend that you are really measuring against. The execution on all the efforts that you're going to put out there. What does that really mean? It boils down to data, right? Have data. Look at your data. That's going to be all about that, and it's going to influence everything else that you're going to plan on.
So I'm not an agency or a big client side anymore, so I'm not sure if I'm fully equipped to answer the question. But I guess if I have to say one thing when it comes to marketing, right? It's for me the biggest thing that hit me was the realization that really we are unimportant. That nobody cares. Nobody cares about our product. Nobody cares about our company. Nobody cares about Colony or Timothy, Tiah. Nobody cares. Everybody is driven by self-interest. So in whatever marketing we do, be it whatever medium or whatever data we get, the big question is how do we appeal to people's self-interest? And that's my thing.
For us, we're still fairly young in the market. Online, I do not discount the importance of online marketing, but what I would advise is that look at offline as well. To me, Malaysia has always been a predominantly offline marketing. It appeals to customers better, at least for us. Yes, influencer marketing is important. I see, like you read all the reports, influencer marketing is on the rise, video content marketing is on the rise. This is the way to capture millennials' hearts. But for us, customers are generally a bit older segment, the 24 to 35, we're the young segment as well. But these are people who value referrals, customer experience, and you're not going to get that just by shooting out an Instagram story 3 seconds. Food, Instagram. It's not going to work. You still need to focus on the customer experience, the product itself, how you sell the convenience, and how you actually make people's lives better.
So before I come already prepared 3 points of the 2018 trend marketing. The first one will be mobile marketing because from Facebook IQ Insights, that in 2020, when your Gen Z are going to be your target market, they were going to be owning a mobile phone before they even have a laptop. So going to think mobile, and not only mobile like mobile apps, social media apps. Instead, you can go to messaging apps because I had a study with EI Intelligence Graph. That is they compared top 4 messaging apps with top 4 social media tools, which is top 4 messaging apps is like WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, WeChat, and Viber versus Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So the messaging apps usage has surpassed the social media tools already by 2016. So 2018, you can go to mobile not only on social media but also you can explore some messaging apps as well. So secondly is the second point is marketing automation, which our team is you can use email automation like GetResponse, or our team also keep developing a lot of automation marketing apps for Shopify platform. And also, that is one thing that it can save a lot of your time when you want to chase like all the new creative best practices, formats that is constantly changing on the social media digital marketing trends. And then the third one will be influencers marketing. But I always keep that in mind that you guys don't fall on social jail, because a lot of times when we propose clients with some influencers, they always say, okay, I don't want this influencer because they don't have enough followers. But look at the trends, look at the conversation. Get tools like social media listening tools from Mentions, from Simply Measure. They actually dig into the conversations of your fans and people, your competitors and your category. What are your fans are talking about and who are the influencers that are influencing the topics. So go into get the right influencers. From there you can know which influencers is the right one for your brand. Yeah, that's my conclusion.
So I actually take a personal issue with trends, because trends come and go, and I'm sure you've been there before, right? So a new thing comes up and everybody becomes fixated on new things, and us marketers, I mean, we are a little bit like small children. It's like, we're being handed a new toy. Would you agree? I mean, is that kind of what the name of the game is? Personally, for me, it's not about any given trend. It's about the untrend, which is to realize that marketing is not about either or, using a new trend when it comes out. It's about using everything that is at your disposal to generate results, to get a higher response. And I just think it's about the combination, it's about the linkage between all these various trends, the AI, using common marketing modalities like PPC, search engine optimization, which are tired and boring, and email marketing as well, but they are effective. So for me, 2018 is all about results. It's about finding those trends that can actually push you towards a higher response rate, but not forgetting about the things that work, the bread and butter, the meat and potato diet of marketing. So I'm excited about not being excited for specific trends and just using them for the business to grow it and to propel it towards new heights. Thank you.
And it's always a challenge to talk about so many trends, the thank you, panel members. I think there is just one more thing that we didn't get a chance to talk about, the data privacy, which is again going to be more and more important since everything was using data as its foundation. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and more importantly, at least learned something from our panel conversation. That being said, let's call it a wrap. Thanks.
Thank you very much to our panel. I did just invite our panel just to the front, just for a photograph. We do have a little bit more time than we expect, which is good. So I've been given the leash of time, which is fantastic. Or we've been given the leash of time. So if you're just in the front right there, just in front of the table. Moderator is usually